On this channel, we provide useful programming information with practical code examples. This time, it's about the additional functionalities of classes in JavaScript. You can learn about private properties and optional chaining along with code. Enabling subtitles will make the code descriptions easier to understand. In JavaScript, private properties are properties that are only accessible within the object or class. This enables more secure and robust code design by providing encapsulation, so that direct modification or reference from external code is not possible. In ECMAScript 2020, ES11, introduced in 2020, the use of hash was introduced to define private fields within classes. This provides a clearer method than the traditional JavaScript private convention, e.g., variable names starting with an underscore. This provides a clearer way, replacing traditional JavaScript private conventions, such as variable names starting with an underscore. Private fields are defined using a name that starts with hash. This field cannot be directly accessed from instances of the class or its subclasses. In the above code, hashname is a private property that cannot be directly accessed from outside the person class. You can only access or change the name through the getName and setName methods. Like private properties, private methods are also defined using a name that starts with hash. Private methods can only be called from within the class. Here, #logCount is defined as a private method and cannot be accessed from outside the class. This method is only used within the class. The following are the advantages of private properties. Encapsulation hides internal state from the outside and maintains data consistency. Security prevents properties from being unintentionally modified by external code. Improved maintainability hides the implementation of objects or classes and clarifies the interface exposed to the outside. Also, the following are some caveats of private properties. Because private fields are completely hidden from outside the class, testing and debugging can become difficult. Therefore, it is important to provide an API that can be thoroughly tested at the design stage. Private fields behave differently from other parts of JavaScript with prototype-based characteristics because they are unique for each instance. Prior to the introduction of private fields using hash, JavaScript did not have an official syntax for private properties. Therefore, in the past, pseudo-private properties were implemented in the following ways. Developers conventionally indicated private by prefixing variable names with an underscore. This method is merely a convention, and in practice, the properties can still be accessed from outside. It's also possible to achieve private properties by using closures with function scope. With this method, the variable _name is enclosed within the function scope and cannot be directly accessed from outside. Private properties in JavaScript are very effective in providing encapsulation in class and object design, helping to protect data safely. The hash notation for private fields introduced in ES 2020 provides a clearer and more secure method of privacy management compared to traditional conventions and closures. Optional chaining is a very useful syntax in JavaScript for accessing deeply nested object properties. It enhances code readability and maintainability by allowing safe access without having to individually check for the existence of specific properties. Optional chaining can be used by placing a question mark before the dot or bracket notation used for property access. This notation returns undefined when a traversed property is null or undefined, allowing the program to continue processing safely without throwing an error. In this example, we are accessing the address and its city property of the user object. Without using optional chaining, you would need to perform multiple existence checks, but with optional chaining, you can safely access the property with a single statement. Optional chaining is applicable not only to object properties, but also to array elements and function calls. In this way, you can also access array elements using optional chaining. As shown in this example, it can also be applied to function calls. When using optional chaining, it's common to use the logical OR, or nullish coalescing operator, to specify default values if a property does not exist. The logical OR operator treats values like false, 0, and as falsy, whereas the nullish coalescing operator uses the default value only when the value is null or undefined. The following are the advantages of optional chaining. Safe access to nested objects. By using optional chaining, you no longer need to perform explicit existence checks, making the code more concise. Avoidance of errors. It can prevent runtime errors even if a property is null or undefined. Improved readability and maintainability. Especially when dealing with many nested objects, the code's readability is greatly enhanced. The following are some caveats of optional chaining. Frequent use of optional chaining may be a sign that the data structure's design is overly complex. You should strive for a simple data model. Since some older browsers and JavaScript engines do not support it, You may need to use polyfills or transpilers. Optional chaining is a powerful feature that simplifies safe access to properties and functions of nested objects in JavaScript. It is particularly effective when accessing deeply nested data structures, contributing to error prevention and improved code readability. The source code for this video can be downloaded from the official website. If you like, please visit the URL in the description to aid your learning. I hope this video helps improve your programming life. By subscribing to the channel, we can deliver more useful information to you.